What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. It is about time for a spicy new DD2 bit of update news, and we got it today over on the Chromatic dev stream. So without further ado, let's hop right on in and check out what's to come in the next update for Dungeon Defenders 2. Now, a special thank you to Chromatic for allowing me onto this test build to record this video so we can get a good look at what's to come right here and hands-on. Now remember, this is an early build, so everything that you see right here is subject to change, and everything could be tweaked and changed before the final release gets to us. Now, let's jump right on into the new hotness. Oh yeah, y'all, we have got the Countess making a return. Now, the Countess is another hero that was in the MOBA back at the beginning of Dungeon Defenders 2 and is finally dropping back in to be playable once again. Now, this is not just a standard gender swap like you would expect. The Countess has been completely reworked. It does have a little bit of flavor from the original Countess in Dungeon Defenders 1. However, we've got all new towers to contend with. Now, first things first, let's take a look through the Countess abilities. Now, if we take a look here, our very first ability, launch a line of flame that burns all enemies. This one is actually really cool looking. I'm kind of excited to see how this ends out. It's a shield slam and then launches out the fire from the shield itself. Pretty darn cool. Now, before we even jump forward, you guys just noticed that, and how did I not mention it? This is pretty cool. The Countess has a little flaming phoenix, so to speak, that is going to come out of the melee swings for a bit of a ranged attack. Now, does this mean the Countess is going to be viable as a ranged hero? Boy, I certainly hope so, because I think that would be just super cool in itself. So, excited to see exactly what we can do with this one. Chromatic has confirmed that it will scale off of hero damage. Now, before we move further, just taking a look through, I've got no gear on the Countess. We'll get to this here in just a minute. And then I evenly dispersed my ascension through the various towers, just so we get a little bit. And I've got everything maxed out in the utility category. But this is with no gear, so expect things to change with the numbers you see, but of course. But anyway, I think that is a pretty cool aspect of the Countess. I'm super excited to see the Countess getting this type of melee attack. That is a melee slash ranged attack. I would love to see some cool ways to play the Countess that's at range and is not just a generic additional hack and slash hero. So Countess looking cool from the regular hero damage melee swings, no doubt. Now moving right on over to her second ability, damage, tower damage, and movement speed increased. This is a buff. It's going to be an AoE buff. You see the label for it on the ground. Now, this also, as you saw, is not only just a hero buff and a movement speed buff, but this is a defense buff as well. So, if you want to hang out near your defenses, you're going to buff your defenses inside of that ring. So, super cool hero buff ability, no doubt. Now, making a return from Dungeon Defenders 1. Oh yeah, we have got our dash. So we've got that Valiant Charge, dash forward, and damage enemies. Now, one of the interesting things about this is if we actually look at the tooltip description here, Valiant Charge, the Countess charges forward, becoming immune to damage and heavily damaging all enemies in her path. The damage immunity there seems very interesting and could be a nice escape right as an assassin is about to pop, if you time it correctly, or just getting through a pack of enemies. But if we take a look at the Valiant Charge, it seems like it has crazy good range as well. In fact, let's check this real quick. Here is a nice long lane. Let's see how far we go here. Holy crap. We went all the way to the end of the lane. Let's check it over on that other lane also. Wow. It appears that this is a crazy long range on this one. Now remember, this is a test build. It may not be that way, but it seems like this ability could be quite the movement ability as well. You combine this with double jump, and you're going to be able to traverse the map super quickly. Now this ability does have to be used while the Countess is on the ground, so you can't use it in midair. However, wow, talk about getting around the map quickly. Oh yeah. Now remember, this is with no shards or anything. Assuming my run speed may have a factor on how fast I move while that's traveling. Oh my gosh, that seems just amazing. And then the fourth ability slot, of course, is dedicated to a heal. This is going to be very similar to the Rogue in Dungeon Defenders Awaken, where it's going to be a heal over time. So you pop it, the Countess is getting that bubble, and then is going to be able to heal up while just running around the map. So it's not a channeled heal. You're going to be able to pop it on the fly and keep going about your business. Now, moving along to the defenses. First things first, we got the flat cannon. This is kind of like a shotgun tower. It's going to just blast enemies in a shotgun type formation. As you see, the range on it is super short. Now remember, I do have absolutely no shards or gear equipped. The range on it is super short, but it is an AoE type tower, so it is going to blast everything in the path. Now, assuming it's going to have a projectile limit, we'll have to get some testing in and figure that out. But this thing looks pretty darn cool. Now, it is a short to mid-range tower. However, very cool looking, no doubt. And once again, that is the flak cannon. Now, moving right on along, we've got an oil catapult. How about that ignite combo, y'all? Oh yeah, we got an oil catapult to slap oil on enemies. Now, I'm curious to see how many enemies this will hit. Of course, it does have a very tight spread. Let's kind of get it... let's put it back at maximum range here and see if it will hit all 4 of those that are in the range. Yeah, it actually is hitting all the way down to this one. So it does have a nice range. It's going to be able to splash that oil around, and that, of course, is going to mean you're going to be able to ignite these enemies using a tower here and not relying on a trap to get that oil in. So good stuff there. We have got the oil catapult. And you know, there's just something to be said about dem bees. And ever since the Dryad came, defenses like this have just been super fun to play with. And on the Countess, we are going to get the Dragon's Nest. Now, oh yeah, it's like, that's pretty darn cool. Now, let's see, how many dragons are we getting? Now, of course, there will be shards for all these defenses, which they didn't go through today, so we're going to have to see how those take. One thing that I do notice right away is look at the range circle. Holy crap, the range on this bad boy is enormous. Let's see what we get out of one nest here. There is 2 dragons. There is a 3rd dragon. It looks like it's going to be 3 dragons per nest. Now, this is super cool. I mean, this is going to be fun to play with. The art on it looks nice. The general feel of it, I think, is going to be very similar to playing with the Dryad's Hornet's Nest, and super cool addition. And then here we got the big enchilada, the Elder Dragon. Now, the Elder Dragon is so powerful, it is not just 1 per hero, it is 1 per account. Yeah, 1 per account. So the only way you're going to get more than 1 of these Elder Dragons down is if you are playing in a group, and you have other characters or other players building on the Countess. So this is not like the Volcano. You can't make 10 count countesses and spam the Elder Dragons around, this is going to be one per account. Now, I gotta say, it looks super cool. As far as its effectiveness goes, being one per account, you're going to have some pretty big expectations. I know I will. If you can only place one of these per account, I'm going to expect one of these to clear a lane by itself. So we're going to have to get it in game and test it out and see if that is a realistic expectation. But oh my gosh, the Elder Dragon looks like an absolute beast, there's no doubt. Now, additionally, taking the range, looking at the range is pretty good considering I have no shards equipped right now. So no shards and mods, and the range seems pretty darn awesome on it, no doubt. So some exciting new defenses come into the game, and the newest hero, the Countess, finally back in and playable in Dungeon Defenders 2. Now, this character has been there for a while. Of course, this one is from the MOBA. However, there has been a lot of work put into this particular hero. Although the Countess historically in Dungeon Defenders is a gender swap hero, this is more of a brand new hero, no doubt. It's got its own kit fully 100% through, and she just looks like an absolute badass. Now, taking a look at the character model of the Countess and then looking back at the original concept art for the Countess from way back in the day, it looks like they stayed pretty true to that concept art, and this is really a good-looking character. I'm excited to see what we can do with her with some cosmetics, and get her all skinned up and with some accessories would be quite shiny, and no doubt about it. Now, moving right on along, we knew that Chaos 9 was coming. Chaos 9 is indeed part of this update. So Chaos 9 is going to require a champion score of 9,850 to unlock, and it is going to be throughout. So you're going to be able to do Chaos 9 maps throughout expeditions. Phil mentioned on stream today that this would be about the difficulty equivalent of floor 350. Now, that's not saying it's going to unlock floor 350. That's just saying if you want to see what the Chaos 9 difficulty would be if you pop into a floor 350 in Onslaught, that is going to give you a rough idea of the difficulty scaling. So, should be a very nice challenge in Chaos 9. Now, with a Chaos 9 difficulty, now means Chaos 9 loot. Now, they did not share with whether or not Chaos 10 amps were going to drop and now be a craftable component, so we don't know if that's going to be there yet. But we do know that Chaos 9 loot will just be dropping on the ground. So Chaos 8 is going to become the easy peasy norm now, and Chaos 9 is going to be the new hotness as far as ground loot goes. So you're going to be able to get yourself up to in-game quality gear very, very quickly compared to prior just having that new difficulty level in expeditions. So going to be a lot easier for players to get to in-game power now with a new expedition tier and Chaos 9 loot just dropping on the ground and no longer require crafting. Now, I'm sure you all saw it. Just like everybody noticed on the stream, we've got a ring slot now. This is for all heroes. This is not just for the Countess. So there's going to be a new piece of gear coming. They didn't show all the rings off to see what we're going to be able to get. However, they did show this Piercer ring on stream. So if you use this Piercer ring, this is, of course, is going to free up a mod slot for you on your weapon if you're using Piercer on your weapon on a hero currently right now. So excited to see exactly what is available on the rings. The rings mod seems flavored to the name of the ring itself. So you are going to be able to free up that mod slot, it appears like. And then we're going to get some stats in here. Now, it does have 50 upgrades, so this is going to be quite the gold sink as well, and is going to allow us to have something to spend that gold on that quite a few of you have been hoarding up. Now, speaking of crafting materials and gold sinks, there is now going to be a new vendor in the game. This is a pretty welcome addition. This vendor is the black market dealer. He's going to be in town on the ship or down in the basement of your inn. This dealer is going to sell insurance. You're going to be able to buy this with gems, defender metals, or gold, although it does seem quite pricey with gold. I guess 15 million is not bad at all for this item. It's well worth 15 mil if you're going to use it for its true purpose. Now, if you see here, an uncommon goblin relic used at Professor Proteus to save your gear from total destruction. Now, if we go ahead and purchase one of these guys, and then let's head on over and check out its use at Proteus. Now, as you also noticed here, we've got a top hat. That is $1 billion, right? Oh yeah, that is 1 billion gold for a top hat. That is going to be a new accessory for people to flex it out if they have hit that billion gold mark and are willing to just throw it all into one accessory. I know there's quite a few people out there that do indeed have that. Now, let's just say for the sake of this video that I wanted to say move this tenacity over to, say, this relic, and say we wanted to get rid of anti-chaos. Or you know what? Let's swap these. Instead, let's move this anti-melee over to where this anti-orc is at. Now, previously in the game, of course, if you wanted to go ahead and do that and move anti-melee over to where this anti-orc is, you would be trashing this item. Now, I don't want to trash the item. I want to save it. Now, down at the bottom of the interface there, you see Shift to save item. So if I hold down Shift, you see it's also now going to be consuming a goblin item insurance. If I go ahead and I make that transfer, I am now saving this item. So I now have this relic with an empty mod slot, and this particular item now has that anti-melee. Now, in addition to the Countess and the new Chaos 9 difficulty, we've also got a new map. If we take a look at the Lost Dungeons region, this one now has 5 maps. And one of them is the Embermount Volcano. Let's go check it out. Longtime players of Dungeon Defenders games will remember this one from Dungeon Defenders Eternity, and then later was brought into Dungeon Defenders by, I believe, the community development team. And this map is now in Dungeon Defenders 2. So we got one of the old favorites into Dungeon Defenders 2 now, from DDE and Dungeon Defenders. So if we take a look at this one, it's not the traditional Dungeon Defenders 2 reskin where they take a map and kind of create it and turn it into something different. This is the Embermount Volcano map. So this bad boy is pretty beast looking. It looks like it would actually be a pretty welcome addition into Dungeon Defenders Awakened as well. Just a good looking map. So taking a look, got the big old backdrop down there. This one has got 2 cores. It's got many spawners and should be quite exciting to do. So the Embermount Volcano is now a playable map in the Lost Dungeons area for Dungeon Defenders 2. Now, where this one is going to fit in with the lore in DD2, I'm not really sure if it will really fit in at all, but of course, it's always a welcome addition to have a new map to play. So the Embermount Volcano is coming in the next update for Dungeon Defenders 2. Now, there's no specific launch date for this update quite yet. They did say it will come in February 2022. They said, they made the statement of it won't be in the beginning of February and it won't be in the end of February. So this one is going to come at some point mid-February 2022. So should be here just within the next few weeks. So lots to look forward to in Dungeon Defenders 2. I think the thing I am most excited about is having a new piece of gear to grind. So rings are coming. You're going to want rings on all of your heroes, and I am looking forward to collecting up the different types and seeing exactly what kind of rings are available in this next DD2 update. So that will do it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks again to Chromatic for giving me access to this build so I could play around and check out some of the hotness. And I am excited to dive in on launch day and check this one out. So thank you all once again, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.